It's a great little family boat. Pretty sweet. There, boom. Woo! Did I say 89 degrees?
I wasn't listening.
Hi there, this is Captain Keel and my old sailing buddy Randy. Join us as we travel hither and yon as we look for some great deals on classic boats and learn a little with each one.
Captain, I think I'm gonna need a little help here.
Randy, I think we're gonna need a bigger boat, buddy.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Woo! We are at West Island Marine in the wonderful town of Fairhaven, Massachusetts. The boat we're going to look at is a Ketch rig. What do we think about Ketch rigs?
We like them.
We do like them. We like them a lot. Why do we like Ketches? Because they're really easy to handle in any kind of wind conditions. Light breeze, you go out, you hoist the mizzen, you hoist the main, and you hoist the Genoa. And you don't necessarily have to beat the weather. You can crack sheets and sail off. The wind starts to pipe up. You can drop the main right away, get rid of it, and just sail with the Genoa and the mizzen. Blows up a little bit more, drop the mizzen, and reef in a little bit of the Jenny. The boat to go to windward with is a sloop. A Ketch has a tendency to drag the mizzen behind the boat and cause a little extra windage, and it really doesn't come into full effect until you sail off the wind, crack your sheets a little bit, and you're going maybe 50 degrees off the winds, 55 degrees, and you start really pumping with it, and the mizzen's doing work at the same time. And I'm going to guess maybe some of these new boats they're building these days, they don't put Ketch rigs in them because I know this is an added expense to the mizzen and the sails and the handling and so forth. She's 36 feet long. She's 30 feet on the waterline. She was designed by Bill Shaw, who designed boats for Pearson for over 20 years. You know, we recently did a Pearson 424. Do you remember her?
Sure.
I liked her a lot. Really nice layout. Ketch rig, big aft cockpit, super boat. Now the boat we're going to look at today has seen some hard times a little bit, but she's not. The owner sailed her right. She's been sailing all last summer and having a fine time with the boat. There are reports of people going offshore, both Atlantic and Pacific in one, and so the boat is capable. And I think right now we should go take a look at it. What do you say?
Let's go check it out.
Bill Shaw design. She's got slack bilges you see down here, which gives you more volume room underneath the settees and the bilge for storage of tanks and so on. She carries 150 gallons of water, by the way, and 50 gallons of fuel, so she's pretty full. Now, this comes down and it's not cut away at all like some modern boats we've talked about where they get real shallow up here. This boat's not going to pound. She will not pound at all. She's good and deep here and has a nice run down to a reasonably small fin keel here.
Does that mean your crew's less likely to get seasick?
This particular hull shape will give you a comfortable ride in the sea. Okay. The hull was painted with two-part epiphanes, brush painted by the owner, and he did a pretty reasonable job. It looks good. It's not a spray paint job, but the boat looks good. Be nice if I had a knife for some of this business right here. You know what I think I have in this box?
Well, you've got that knife, right?
I got that knife. I just want to welcome the good people at Bespoke Post, who were kind enough to send along some really interesting items.
Wait, what is Bespoke Post?
It's a really awesome monthly membership club. It's free to join, and then every month they send you some really cool stuff from their collection of barware, outdoor stuff. It's from craftsmen and people with unique ideas. They sent me a questionnaire originally, and I filled out that said, this is where my interests lie. I told them I like to do sailing and spend times in the outdoor world, so I'm going to get things that I could use when I go out backpacking and on boats. And this box came in just this morning. It's got a really amazing knife in here. It's from an outfit called Bare Bones in Salt Lake City. Let's give it a test on these barnacles.
Yeah, let's see it.
Whoa, now that's a serious knife. This I would recommend having on any boat. These things, oh, okay. That's short shrift, isn't it? Woo-hoo. This is definitely a keeper. This is fabulous. Whoa! I just cleaned this whole shaft right here. It's a little extra treat in here. Grooming detox scrub bar.
You could
But
use a detox scrub.
I could use a detox scrub. That's a definite keeper. Inside each one of these boxes that I get every month, there's an item that's going to be roughly about a $70 value, and we get them for $45. One thing I like about this is that 90% of the items in these boxes that show up come from small businesses, small operators operating here in the United States. You only pay for what you keep. They ship you a box every month. If you don't like it, then you can swap it for another box that same month, and if not, then you can skip the month entirely. And there's no charge for that. And the box lineup changes every month, and I've gotten some neat items, and I just want to share them with you. I like this a lot. This is called the Destination, and it's kind of a cleverly done bag. Got a place to put a couple of shoes over in these little wing bags here. Really nice bag for an airplane. I got something here in a box called a Retreat. It comes with a hammock. And
That sounds right up your alley.
this is up my alley. It's kind of cool. To get 20% off the first box, click the link and enter this code when you check out, or go through the link in the description below. Once again, thanks to our sponsor, Bespoke Post. This is the water intake for the engine right here, and that gets gummed up. We got a lot of hard growth on this boat, and I think she may have sat a little bit too long this summer. And you can see up here where the paint is not just ablating, but it's coming off by itself practically.
That's pretty thick.
It's pretty thick, yeah. It's got to
So
go.
would you, if you took ownership, would you sand soda blast it?
First thing I do on this boat would be to ask the yard to blast it down and recoat it and paint it with a fresh, couple of fresh coats and some underlayment, whatever they think is required. Yeah, that's number one item for me. Then put it in the water and then start fiddling around with some of the things we'll see up on deck. You see the little drain down, the little water bit coming out? That is the drain hole for the sump bilge, meaning all the lead is internalized on this boat, and it's forward of that, and it's inside the fiberglass shell. So the lead is forward, which gives them the opportunity to have, you can hear how hollow that is? And so any water in the bilge comes down and will sit in the bilge, be pumped out, and of course when you haul the boat, you pull the plug, water drains out. The shaft here and the prop are kind of gruesome looking today, and I think this prop probably didn't give the boat a lot of drive. Not with this little family living on here. This is Mr. and Mrs. Barnacle, and his zincs are gone. He may not have sailed that this much this summer, I'm not certain, but anyway, the zincs need to be replaced. This needs to be chipped off. This is the line cutter right here, but you see it actually comes down right in there and chops it. Actually chops the line, and this tooth is on the side. That's brutal. That's a major piece. But I'd like to have this all polished. Again, even cruising, I'd crank into my budget price for a 3-blade feathering prop. Now she's got a great big skeg back here. This is really solid. This is major. She sits up about 1.5 feet above the bottom of the keel. So when you find Mother Earth with your boat, you're going to hit it with a keel and the lead first, and then this will be saved from any damage. Another big barn door rudder here, and it seems to move pretty. I'm just barely touching this thing, so I'm spinning a wheel up in the cockpit right now. But that feathers in nicely. So Snow Goose is actually a beautiful white seabird area. It's got a 5-foot wingspan. And you can imagine this boat with her main, mizzen staysail, genoa, and everything all set, looking like a giant bird with the white wings. All right, Randy, what do you say we fly up top on the Snow Goose?
All right, let's do it. Yeah,
Here we
let's
go. Okay, Randy, come on up, buddy.
Oh, thanks.
I'm heading out to sea right now.
All right.
I don't know. I get so happy with some of these boats we see. They're such wonderful discoveries. This would be an easy boat to single hand. We get a lot of people asking about that sort of thing. There'd be a few things you want to lead back to the cockpit. I can see some sail stop, some halyard stoppers on the mast. It's a simple boat. This was just a basic buy for a boat that somebody just launch it and go sailing. Stop fooling. Would have been a great boat for the Chesapeake Bay. You know, shallow draft. It's about 4.5 foot draft. How good is that?
That's great.
So we have a cockpit. This is nice size. It's got a good size footwell here for it. Plenty of places to grab to keep yourself steadied in the cockpit. I like this cockpit and this layout, and I think it's a pretty utilitarian and comfortable. Now these seats are probably 8 feet long at least.
Yeah.
And there aren't many humans that size, so just about anybody can lie down here on either tack and really be comfortable wherever they want to go. The helmsman has got a great big sitting area back here, and I can see some cockpit cushions going all the way across, and I might even put in something that would raise me up a little bit if I was sitting back here, so that I could sit up high and see my instrument panel and see the bow forward. But standing, of course, I've got great clear visibility all the way forward. Look at me. We're looking right out at sea there. Look at that. Look at that. See? All we just need is a good push and we're in the water. And now, Randy, we have one of our little favorite items here is that little port right there beside the companionway. What are we going to use that for?
Oh, to hand up some sandwiches or drinks.
Right. You know, when it's blowing and the hatches are maybe closed up, that's very handy, literally, to hand stuff right there, and you'll see the galley is just below that. Check out the depth of the cockpit combing. All the way around, even the captain. I'm not going to get thrown out of this boat no matter what happens. You could take a serious knockdown and you'd be fine. She does have 2 cockpit drains here, and everything drains down to those. They look like they're about 1.5 inches diameter. We have the normal captain's extra working device here. And what is that?
It's a bicep machine.
A bicep machine, you're right. God, again, you got, and this is the handle. You know what you do with this? You hit the cameraman's foot to get his attention. Or you can just put it right in there and just help get any water out of your bilge, just pumping like that. And that'll move, I don't know, 30 gallons, 40 gallons an hour or something. A lot of water goes out of there.
10 for certain people.
Not funny. So this is nice. It's got the new array here that everybody likes on these boats right now. So all of your information is here. A really nice Ritchie compass. And right here beside us is the keypad for the Raymarine autopilot. It's an Edson wheel, a very nice Edson wheel. They got a little mark up here to tell you when the wheel's in the center. They've got a nice little teak cap on the combing here. On this particular boat, we need a little elbow grease, don't we?
Yeah,
we could shine that right up. And also, too, let's remark, we all love sailing the boat from the side. This is a pretty nice flat platform for the helmsman to sit up here. I might even build a little cushion to put on this for the captain's buttocks.
Don't you already have some cushion there?
I do. In fact, that would be good. This backstay here, which is one of 2, it splits up right up here. You'll see the split in the backstay right there, and there's a little piece where it comes down from the top of the mast and down to the deck. Now stay there while you're up looking up there. Look way up at the very top. You'll see another very fine cable up there. It's hard to see here. And that's called the triadic. And that holds the top of the mizzen mast to the top of the main mast. Now, you have to steady the mizzen mast some way, and that's a good way to do it. It has one drawback, and that's if for some reason the main mast goes out to lunch, because those 2 are attached to the top, it's likely to bring out the mizzen too. Here we have a good sized heavy hatch. Over the side, you can barely see here, I can see the Raymarine autopilot, linear drive, and that's just been rebuilt, so that's in great shape. But this is nice to have a place to put your bumpers, right? A lot of people end up having to tie them onto the lifelines, and it looks sort of goofy going down the waterway. On the port side, look at the depth of that. Really nice battery storage. I'm looking at the batteries right now, and those need to be tied down, I think, a little better than they are right now. But that's for the next owner to deal with. On the starboard side, now we got a little more activity here. There's a hot water heater, about a 5-gallon hot water, I think, Raritan, and that looks pretty new, or newer, let's say that. You can also see the overflow reservoir for the freshwater cooling unit. That's the red box. And down below, I see a bilge pump that looks a little testy, but may still well work, just a little moisture on it. And this big bar down here is going to act as your emergency tiller. All right, Randy, let's take a walk forward. What do you say? A nice long squared off cabin. It's a nice sharp crisp line to this boat. Shaw did a really handsome job with it. And what does this cabin trunk remind me of?
Chuck Payne?
Yes, the Morris 36.
Yeah.
Yep. Just that same sort of thing. Nice and crisp lines along here. And look at all the deck space here. Both hatches need a little work. I can see they've probably had some leakage here. It's going to require a little attention. You know, they've done the old silicone treatment on it.
Yeah. Do you just replace those over time, or what would you do?
You pull the glass, and you probably get someone to replace the glass, clean all this metalwork up, paint it, reinstall it. It's a long weekend, maybe 2 weekends to take care of one. Once it's done, it'll be good for another 46 years. So back when these were built, you could order from the factory single lifelines or double lifelines. That was an add-on feature. Is it really important? Yes and no, but it's nice to have the double. You could add it, or you can live like this. A lot of people live without lifelines for years before the fiberglass boat business got crazy. So I'm up in the bow here, in case you didn't notice. We have an electric capstan here with our old Wildcat at the bottom and a rope drum at the top. These all look a little tired, so I don't know what work needs to be done too. We have a bow pulpit here, not really a pulpit, but an anchoring pulpit right here with rollers. I understand that had a bit of a collision with something, and it's been semi-repaired, might need a little additional attention. The tow rail is teak, and the manufacturers, they did it had an inward turning flange on the hull. They 5200 glued the deck to the hull, and then they put the teak on and screwed through the teak into the deck flanges that are mated. Some people said they would have liked to have seen that bolted, and some said, you can find this on any boat, there might be some deck leaks. It's very pleasing up here on deck. And you know what else is nice up here?
No.
Look at all the deck space.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you had kids, you could actually have made a couple of deck mats, all right, to lay down here and sunbathe and relax, maybe even sleep outdoors. You know why it's called a Charlie Noble?
Yeah, we learned because Charlie Noble has to have it polished, right?
Right. He was a captain on a ship. He walked by that thing one day on the ship, and it was all black and sooty. So he told the cook, polish that thing up. And it turned out when he polished it up, it was all brass, and it shone and glowed on top of his cabin top. So he made them keep that polish, and the sailors from then on said anything that got polished was a Charlie Noble. They've got an outhaul rig on a track that will help you tension the main foot, the foot of the mainsail, and it has an internal track where the cars will go. I don't know if they converted this to a free foot or not. Let's head down below. What do you say?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, follow me. Okay, Randy, come on down, buddy.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, once again, your captain has found a nice comfy spot to sit here. Nice big settee berths here. I must be on 4 or 5 inch mattress cushions here. And behind me, there's a really nice pilot berth up here. Off-watch crew can get up here no matter what tack you're on, and they'll be safe and sound and get a really good off-watch sleep. So that's very important, making passages. We've got a nice fold-down lockers here, fold-up locker things, and lots of room to slide stuff in. All the wood effect facings in here was typical of boats of the period, and especially Pearson. And this wood came from the Formica tree. They used molded sections inside. You can see the overhead. Look at the overhead in this boat. It is all one piece molded, and it really is going to be easy to clean and maintain. They've also put nice handrails here outboard on starboard and port side. There are 4 big port lights here, and there was some complaint that these might have leaked. Now, some of those leak complaints came from 30, 40 years ago when these things were first bedded and put in. I don't see any sign of a real problem there. So you want to put up the table. This is pretty easy. Look at this. We just set the table up like so. There, boom. It's a great little family boat. One of my favorite spots on any boat, of course, is the navigation station. You know, you could stand up here very easily and work on your charts, and there's chart storage underneath. Excuse me, pup. And we can bring a chart book out. She can chart any course she wants to there. Now this seating thing is kind of cool. It's got a little bench here, and now I'm seated at a really big table. They've put a little work library here for your tools and your parallel rules and your dividers and everything. There's actually a radio here, a VHF that's could be as old as the boat, but we probably get a squawk out of that if we punch the button. And inside we did find a nice good sized chart table and plenty of room for storage and all those things that you can't find any place else to put, right? Now this is our old Furuno radar, we mentioned it before, and the owner said it sort of works sometimes. Now that gives me reason to believe I'd want to probably replace it for safety's sake. So this thing would probably go, but again, nice location for it, handy to the helmsman, and you can tell him to punch that Ray Marine autopilot, right? We've got an automatic bilge pump switch here, and that can go in the auto mode, and it has a manual mode, so if you want to just check, see if your bilge is pumping, you pump it, and that has a push switch. You just hold it, and then you let it go. When you let it go, it goes to off, but you're best to push it to auto so that it always runs. And your circuit breakers up here are, well, excuse me, they're fuses. This is an older boat, so we still got all these fuses here that can pop out and you replace with glass fuses. Really pretty big galley for a 36-footer, U-shaped, so you're kind of locked in there. I see a belt coming across here to keep you from falling out of the galley. But lots of counter space, big refrigeration box. Whoa, look at the size of that thing. It's really deep. And this has two refrigeration compartments, another one over on this side. This is what we often call the wine cooler section, and we keep our wine cooled, right? A good old-fashioned alcohol stove. We'd probably want to replace it. It is gimbaled. You could use it for the first time young buyer. Come on board, clean it up like crazy, and it works. It's worked for hundreds of years. So
why do you want to replace it?
It didn't pass a whole lot of safety codes, so I think you might consider maybe donating this. The sliders are gone, and so there needs to be some plastic sliders in there. Big sink, good size sink. It's sort of a kitchen sink size thing. Pressure hot and cold water. Another foot pump here, and I got it down by my foot down there, so I can add more water and just use and save water that way. Here's where all your cups and mugs can go, and of course your dinny if you need to.
Do you like this kind of overhead thing?
You know, I do like it because it gives me a sense of, it just makes it a little cozier here in the galley. This is pretty easy. It's got a little fold up top on it, this piece. I'll set it over in the galley. You've got a door there to look at stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
But hold on a second. Let's just make it even easier.
Oh wow.
Look at that. There's your good old Westerbeek diesel Paragon transmission. Here's an oil filter down the side of the engine. All pretty accessible. Because of where this engine is located, we've got to use a V drive, right? Oh. So you see that yellow? Yep. That yellow piece there? Well, I'm going to show you some more of that. Look right here. Here's the drive coming down from the engine, and this turns. And you see the shaft underneath it? This drives the V drive right here, which reverses the direction to the shaft of the for the propeller. And it's right there. There's your whole deal.
And what is this contraption here?
This line is part of your cooling system that comes in right here, and it's going to run right through the V drive to keep this cool. Huh. This goofy looking thing here is just a way to clean out. I think there's probably a catch filter in there. Like what you might use for a water strainer. Yeah.
Any downside of using a V drive?
No, well, some people, they used to say they were a little noisier because you've got sort of these gears in the V drive that would kind of whir. That might have been old time thinking. I don't know that it's a big problem. I don't think you'd really notice it because it's buried so well down there. The floors are really nice. They're not real teak and holly, but it's the plywood, and it wouldn't take much to sand these down, put a light coat of varnish with maybe a little sand and a little grit in it so you'd have some non-skid, and you'd be ready to go to town. Look how nice that bilge is. It's got a new, what is that, Randy?
It's a little sump pump.
What would you use the sump pump for?
Shower.
Yep, so when you shower, all your gray shower water comes down here and everything, collects in that basin right there, that plastic basin, and then it's got its own pump in it, and that will pump it directly overboard. A lot of times in older boats, they would just let the shower drain into the bilge. Worst thing you can do for a boat, because that hair and body oils and so forth will eventually start to rot and stink, and you'll stink up the whole boat. Send it into its own compartment, then send it overboard as gray water. We had aluminum mast sitting on a steel platform, so to speak, and you eventually got rust, and it chewed up the bottom of the mast too, because that would start to corrode, which is, leading to a potential problem. What this owner did is he had a whole new mast step created, and then cut off the bottom 2 inches or so of the mast, so it had fresh meat sitting on it, and then reinstalled it. And obviously when they replaced all the standing rigging, they accommodated the slightly shorter mast.
Oh, your favorite.
Oh yeah. This is, I believe, one of the old shipmate wood burning stoves. They're a little bigger than the units that people are building today, but it's got a great big firebox here, and you just take your chunks of wood, right, and drop it in there, light it off on fire, drop that hatch, and this is a nice design. It really locks that wood in there. And when you're finished burning, here's your ash box. The hatches look a little tired, and the glass looks tired up here, and there's been some, you can see, when you see the silicone caulking like this on the hatches, it's been a short cut to a fix. Now, question is the aluminum frame for these hatches still good or not? But
yeah, I think somebody already took that into
I think it did, because what did we spot sitting over there? Acrylic sheeting that could go in, and you could take the old piece out up here and then put this piece right in like so, and look, they've already cut an approximate size to it, and you can replace that. Well, it's ahead, but come on in, I'm free. Yeah, what do you think about this? Look at me. I am in my own shower stall here. And it's a big shower stall. It has a seat. You see the seat down here?
Yeah, this is a little unexpected.
Yeah, it is. And hot and cold pressure water. A regular shower head up here. You don't have to use the faucet out of the sink. And privacy. And it's going to keep all the water right in. They've used a porta potty here just because it was a simple way to do things. And limits the plumbing issues and so forth. So that's going to work all right. They seem to think that's fine for them. And I'm going to try it. And you know what they have here? What do we like here?
Fore and aft position.
Fore and aft, buddy, right. Fore and aft position for the head. We have, I think these boxes are just designed, and first of all, you can see the holding tank switch down here, the manifold switch, but this is also your giant laundry bag right there, okay? Those are great for laundry. Nice sink. People with long hair can get their heads under here and just wash their hair easily. Sliding storage. This is nice, very roomy. Nice storage, nice clean plumbing, and all this plumbing, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to bet is fresh and new. And what do we know about septic system plumbing?
Oh, it's good to change those out every 5 years or so.
Yeah, at least 5, maybe 3.
Maybe 2 on the PB.
Let's not go there. Right here behind me, we have a foul weather gear locker or hanging locker, general hanging locker, and it's all nice and dry and neat and tidy. Lots of storage, lots of little storage, a lot more than you usually find. Now we got a really pretty roomy forward cabin. We have a forward cabin hanging locker right here. We have a bureau of drawers, a little storage up here topside for, maybe more Dinty Moore, whatever you want to store up here.
Seems like a lot of Dinty Moore.
And look what they've done here. This is nice. Not really appropriate, right? But let's get into the cushion. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Not as wide as some we've seen, but when you put the filler piece in, it's going to feel like your queen size bed at home. I'm not seeing any signs of leakage or any issues down here. You know what I usually say about now, Randy?
Nighty night.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming on board. Talk to you later. This Pearson 365 was really terrific. It was a real surprise. I love going below and finding a really big nav station in a 36-footer, a really comfortable U-shaped galley. Pretty sweet. The Ketch rig I like a lot. and she was shallow draft, so we could motor in and out of just about any place with this boat. I'm going to give it a 10 because she has
Because
been
it floats.
floating.
Yeah.
I have a picture of this boat floating.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to give it another 8 for the Ketch rig.
Yep.
And there's a few things that need to be done on the boat to bring her around, make her smart as can be. I'm going to give it another 3. I'm going to take her over 21, and I'm not going much more than that because you got to put a little work into it, but you're going to have a sweet boat at an incredible price.
Yeah. That's a lot of boat for the money.
It is a lot of boat money.
If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when the next one comes out, please hit the alert bell. And that's not desperate at all. We're having too good a time doing these things, so you can hit the bell or not. Randy, how would I ever find out what's coming up next?
You can follow us on Instagram here
Yeah.
or Facebook here. We'll have little previews of what's coming up on our next episodes. A little bit early.
That's pretty cool. Previews. You all join me. I'm going to Instagram right now, and I'm going to find out what's coming up next week. Thank you very much.
You know, Instagram's not a place.